Welcome back to another episode of Magic's in the Mess, the go-to podcast for ambitious women ready to stop pretending, start aligning, and finally build success your way. I'm your host, Danielle McKinley, speaker, business and wealth strategist, and your go-to problem-solving hype girl. Here, we'll help you unlock powerful mindset shifts, discover your magic, and bring your dream life into reality. Each week, I'll deliver raw stories, proven business strategies, and powerful transformations with industry leaders to activate the magic in you. So if you're ready to ditch the pressure, the performative BS, and the noise telling you who you should be, hit subscribe and let's make some magic. People call it delusional. I like to call it inevitable. What if the thing holding you back isn't your ability, but your willingness to believe in your vision so hard that it simply has no choice but to become reality? Welcome back to another episode of Magic's in the Mess. Today, we are diving into a conversation that's going to stretch you, maybe even challenge you, and we're talking about is being delulu. Yes, the word that's trending online right now and how it might actually be your superpower that you've been ignoring. So here's the truth. Being delulu is not about living in fantasy land or pretending things are true when they aren't. It's about vision casting with conviction. It's about anchoring yourself so deeply into the future version of you that she starts pulling you forward like a magnet. You see, there's a difference between toxic delusion and what I like to call strategic delusion. So let me break it down for you. Toxic delusion is ignoring reality, it's avoiding the work or bypassing what's right in front of you. But strategic delusion, it's creating reality. It's deciding what's inevitable and then aligning your actions with that decision until it shows up. So I call myself strategically delulu. Let me give you an example of my own delulu, if you will. Okay, so many of you know, if you are an avid listener of the podcast, I am a college dropout. I had no business background. I knew absolutely nothing about HIPAA, OSHA compliance, or really the technical world of building a software company. So all logic said, Danielle, you're not qualified to build a success. I can't speak, words are hard. A successful SaaS company. But when the opportunity came to co-found and scale that company, I didn't overthink it. I told myself, I'm going to figure it out, period. I made a decision. And then I did. I scaled the company to a successful exit. Now, did it happen fast? No. It took way longer than I thought it would. But that's the thing about most worthwhile dreams. They rarely run on our timeline. And here's what I learned. When you decide something's inevitable, the timeline doesn't matter anymore. You just keep moving forward. So here's the messy part that people don't like to talk about. I thought the exit would feel like fireworks. But when it finally happened and the money was in my bank, it didn't feel like fulfillment. The fulfillment wasn't there. And I've talked about this before, but I had to take a step back and I truly went inward. It was a season that I call my cocoon time. It was quiet. It was wildly uncomfortable and asking myself questions that I had to ask myself questions that I'd never asked myself before. Like, who am I really? Who do I want to be? And they sound basic, but they're actually very deep. And what I realized was that I'd been running on hustle and achievement, but what was missing was alignment. You see, I was pushing and proving instead of pursuing what was aligned for me and what was meant for me. And through that, I've talked about this before as well, I had to really face my money story. And I had to understand what truly drove me. And out of all of that cocoon phase and deep inner work, it's why I do what I do today, helping women collapse timelines by pairing real business strategy with intuitive clarity to know who they are, what they want, and the right action steps to take. So after the exit, I stepped into the coaching world and the digital product space. And guess what? Even with all the experience, even with the cash cushion to make decisions and place bets, those old voices still crept in. Am I qualified? Do I belong in this room? Should I be here? Does that sound familiar? But here's the big difference from when it happened as a green software creator and co founder to becoming a new coach. The difference was I know how to shut that voice up so much faster because I anchor back into my lived experience. I have the receipts. I've done hard things before, so I know I can do them again. And here's the analogy that I always use. If a friend was sitting next to you saying those same doubts out loud, you're not ready, you don't belong here, you're not good enough. We've all said these things to ourselves. If that person was sitting beside you, that inner voice was a human being, you would look at her and say, "Get the fuck out of here," right? And that's exactly how you should treat the inner voice when it talks down to you. Michael A. Singer, he's the author of The Untethered Soul. It's one of my favorite books. And he says, you are not the voice in your head, you are the one observing it. I'm going to say that one again. You are not the voice inside your head, you are just the one observing it. So this means you get to choose which voice gets your energy. Okay, so how do you turn being delulu into something strategic? How do you become strategically delulu? I'm going to break it down for you. Step 1, vision casting. You want to write down exactly who you're becoming. Get wildly specific. How does she spend her time? How does she dress? How does she lead? How does she talk to herself? What does her inner voice sound like? Step 2, you want to find the inevitability anchor. So I want you to do this and say it out loud. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That becomes your anchor. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And you repeat it until you believe it so deep in your soul and in your bones. Okay? Step 3, you need to have a future self check-in. So every day, ask yourself, what would the version of me who already has it do today? Then I want you to take one action that matches her. Okay, now the fourth step is I want you to reframe the wait. So if it's taking longer than you wanted, remind yourself good things usually do. That doesn't mean it's not working, it just means you're in a building season. Okay, step 5, I want you to anchor in evidence. So make a list of past wins, times you did something that felt impossible, because success leaves receipts, it leaves proof. And I want you to pull on them when you're experiencing another difficult time like I did to show yourself, hey, you've been through hard things, you can do it again. Okay, I want you to build those receipts. Now, being delulu, it's really about this. It's about choosing belief before the results show up. Okay? Choosing belief before the results show up. Because here's the deal. Most people need evidence before they'll believe something. But leaders, visionaries, trailblazers, they believe so deeply that evidence has no choice but to appear. You see the difference? And when you live in that energy, you collapse timelines because you're not waiting. You're showing up today as the woman you're becoming tomorrow. So here's what I want you to take with you. The next time someone says you're delusional or alludes to it, I want you to take it as a compliment because every visionary who has ever created something new has been called crazy, delusional, or maybe a little bit delulu. But every trailblazer had to believe before anyone else could see it. So maybe your job isn't to stop being delulu. Maybe your job is to turn your delusion into your superpower. I want to leave you with a journal prompt that really has helped me. So this prompt is, if it was inevitable, how could I be showing up right now? And if you're ready to take things a little bit further or want some guidance to bring that big vision to reality, I want you to consider booking a Vision to Victory call with me if you're ready for some one-on-one clarity and strategy. Okay? So do your journal prompt, be a little bit freaking delulu. I love you, I believe in you, and I'll see you on the next episode of Magics in the Mess.